India's Chandrayaan-3 moon mission has achieved another major milestone. The spacecraft's lander module has now detached from the propulsion module. What are the objectives of the lander module at this stage? What are the requirements for a safe landing? And what happens next? Our next report breaking it down for you.
2, 1, 0.
India's Chandrayaan-3 mission has reached a crucial point. In the latest, the lander module known as Vikram, which was carrying the rover known as Pragyan, has now detached from the propulsion system, which was originally pushing the lander forward. What's next? The lander's principal mission is to land the rover module on the moon. A successful landing will make India the fourth nation to achieve the feat. India will join the ranks of the United States, Russia and China. So what is the lander module Vikram carrying? Vikram has three specific payloads: Ramba LP, Chaste and ILSA. The mission's next stage involves the activation of these instruments, but NASA has also provided another instrument for lunar study. It's called the Laser Retroreflector Array, and the instrument is meant for lunar laser ranging studies. Vikram will also maintain communication with the rover and the Indian Deep Sea Network. Now let's tell you what each payload will do. First, the radio anatomy of the moon-bound hypersensitive ionosphere and atmosphere, also known as Ramba LP. It is meant to measure the near-surface plasma density and its changes over time. Next is the Chandra Surface Thermophysical Experiment, also called Chaste. The instrument will study and measure the thermal properties of the moon's surface near its poles. And then there is the Instrument for Lunar Seismic Activity, also known as ILSA. This will measure the seismicity of the landing site and delineate the structure of the lunar crust and mantle. So what will the propulsion module do now? After carrying out its principal task of pushing the lander closer to the moon, the propulsion module will now search for extraterrestrial life. It will aim for exoplanets beyond our solar system. ISRO says that it will continue its journey in the current orbit for months or years. The module carries its own payload called the spectropolarimetry of habitable planet Earth, also known as SHAPE. The instrument will conduct a spectroscopic study of the Earth's atmosphere and make measurements of variations in polarization from the Earth's cloud. The data will help scientists study exoplanets that support life and find a better way to understand the Earth's atmosphere. The Chandrayaan-3 mission is on track to create history, and Indians are waiting with bated breath to witness the landing. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
Our next story is about something that's present all around us and is now, unfortunately, finding its way inside our bodies. And it's alarming to say the least. I'm talking about plastic, more specifically microplastics. First of all, what are they? Microplastics are tiny plastic particles. How tiny? Plastics less than 5 millimeters in diameter, basically. And there are two categories, primary and secondary. Primary microplastics are designed for commercial use. Secondary microplastics, as the name suggests, are the result of the breakdown of larger plastic items. Microplastics wreak havoc in various ways. They are consumed by marine life. They can be lethal. In fact, scientists have found 10,000 times more microplastics on the seafloor than in contaminated surface waters. And they are a serious health concern. And they are making their presence felt in multiple ways, dangerous ways. Have a look at this study. According to the study published in the journal Environmental Science and Technology, microplastics were found in the hearts of human beings undergoing cardiac surgery. For the first time, You heard that right. Microplastics in the human heart. They were detected in samples of tissue from the heart. Earlier, microplastics were detected in human breast milk. The samples, remember, were taken from 34 healthy mothers. This was a week after they gave birth. Microplastics were found in 75% of them. In the year 2020, microplastic particles were revealed in the placentas of unborn babies for the first time. Researchers call that a matter of great concern. I could go on and on, but you get the point here. The presence of microplastics in our environment makes human exposure inevitable. The question is, are we taking this seriously enough? We've all seen visuals of marine animals getting entangled in plastic, suffocating on plastic items. And these latest studies on the presence of microplastics in the human body is a whole new chapter in this horror tale. Microplastics are not a micro problem. They are a major menace, and it's high time we took the impact of plastic pollution seriously. Let's now shift our focus to Germany. In the financial capital and the biggest airport in the country, the Frankfurt airport has axed at least 90 flights due to a massive storm. Flooding, flight cancellations, reroutings have wrapped the financial capital in a mess. Reports say the fire service has now launched over 500 operations, but that's not all. The foreign minister also was not able to fly for her Indo-Pacific trip. Her plane seems to have broken down. What really is happening to the country known for its efficiency? Our next report telling you the complete story.
Is that a pond or an airport? Is that a plane or a boat? This is the condition of Frankfurt Airport. At least 90 flights cancelled, over 23 rerouted to other airports. Germany's biggest airport is scrambling to book passengers on new flights. The storm has swept over the southwest, and experts say it is dumping rainfall of up to 60 litres per square metre. Some passengers have been left to face the aftermath of the storm.
We didn't have a bus to take us to our aeroplane. We had to wait 3 hours, and then we were just abandoned after that. So no vouchers. I didn't have a hotel. I slept on a chair with other people, and I've been queuing for 3 hours with everybody else here. No water. There is no priority for elderly or families with children. It's disgraceful. I'm really, really shocked, and we are not getting great service at all.
The fire service says over 500 operations have been launched. But it still looks like the nation, known for its efficiency, is breaking down. This is what happened earlier. The Foreign Minister, Elena Baerbock, was scheduled to fly to Australia, New Zealand and Fiji in her government plane. But she had to abandon the trip. Why? Because of a problem with her government plane. The minister set off from Berlin on what was supposed to be a nearly week-long trip. She was scheduled to arrive in Canberra on Monday night. But a mechanical problem with her aging aircraft's landing flaps meant that it had to turn back to Abu Dhabi after a refueling stop there. The aircraft took off again for Australia after a test flight was conducted. But the technical problem resurfaced shortly after takeoff, and the plane had to return to the Emirati capital again. Germany may enjoy a good reputation, but the nation's aircraft reputation is in continuous decline. In 2018, former Chancellor Angela Merkel missed the opening of a G20 summit in Argentina because her Airbus plane broke down. Earlier the same year, Chancellor Olaf Scholz was stranded in Indonesia after rodents chewed up the cables of his plane. The most embarrassing part could be the way Baerbock had to cancel her trip. The foreign minister said, "We tried everything, but unfortunately it's logistically not possible to carry out my Indo-Pacific travel without the defective plane." A flooded airport runway, the foreign minister abandoning a trip because of issues with her aging aircraft. This is what a country known for its efficiency has been reduced to. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
On to India, where devotees making their way to a temple have been urged to carry a wooden stick. Why? To fight wild animals. This comes after a little girl was killed by a leopard. A range of other measures have been put in place. For example, pilgrims can only go in batches of 100 to visit the temple. Devotees have now been urged to carry a stick when they visit the Tirumala Tirupati Balaji Temple. Concerns over animal attacks were triggered following an attack on a 6-year-old girl. The girl was using a pathway to reach the temple, but she strayed from the path after she had a fight with her family. The girl's body was later found in some bushes, and investigators have said that she was attacked and killed by a leopard. The suspected leopard was trapped, but officials say that there were more wild animals in the area, which included more leopards and sloth bears. The temple authorities have introduced a few rules now. Pilgrims will need to travel in batches of 100, while a security guard accompanies them. To avoid attracting animals to the pathways, devotees' food stalls have also been urged not to litter food. Officials have specified that people should not feed monkeys as well. Some of the restrictions have resulted in some unhappy devotees, one of them saying, and I'm quoting, "We have come from such faraway places. If they don't allow children after 2 p.m., we will end up having to wait the whole night till 5 a.m. the next day." Authorities are also installing more high-tech security systems. Temple officials have said that 500 CCTV cameras are being installed along several pedestrian routes, and this will allow them to relax other rules, like the entry timings for children. Officials say, and I'm quoting, "Drone cameras will also be procured. Animal trackers and doctors will also be made available round the clock." So if you are planning to visit the temple, you know what to do, and we will be tracking the latest developments. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.